120 million euros for Inter's star. Has Arsenal lost its mind? And Salah, has he finally extended his contract with Liverpool? Casemiro is already packing his bags for Turkey, while Frenkie de Jong is choosing his next club. All this and more, the hottest transfer rumours right now. 300 likes, and I'll be back tomorrow with fresh inside info. Liverpool fans, big news, Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk are staying at Anfield. You'd think this calls for a celebration, fireworks, flags in the air, but here's the catch. Trent Alexander-Arnold's situation raises way too many questions. Why is Liverpool in no rush to make an official announcement? And more importantly, why are there rumours that Real Madrid has practically secured the right back already? Here's the deal. Salah, Van Dijk and Trent's contracts all expire this summer. Liverpool has been negotiating with all three because letting players of this caliber walk away for free would be criminal. And while the news about Salah and Van Dijk is great, their signatures are already on paper. Alexander-Arnold's future remains a mystery. Liverpool is pretending like nothing's happening, but insiders are sounding the alarm. Supposedly, the club is afraid of drawing too much attention to the situation. And when a club is afraid, it usually means something's wrong. Coincidence? I don't think so. Back in January, Liverpool rejected Madrid's approaches twice, but according to the latest reports in Spain, they're already 90% sure the deal for Alexander-Arnold is done. What? So Liverpool is doing everything they can to convince him to stay, while Madrid is already popping champagne. But you know what really surprises me? Over 80% of viewers watch these videos without subscribing. So, you find the news interesting, you watch the videos all the way through, yet the subscribe button remains untouched? Strange logic, don't you think? Let's fix that. Hit subscribe to stay up to date with the hottest transfer rumours. Now, Trent is not an easy case. He was born in Liverpool. He's one of the team's leaders. But hey, Steven Gerrard also dedicated his entire career to the Reds, until he was practically dragged to MLS. So while club loyalty is great, big money and new challenges can change everything. It's rumoured that Salah's new contract is worth £400,000 per week. Van Dijk will likely stay on his £220,000 salary with a slight increase. But what about Trent? If he wants top-tier wages and Liverpool isn't willing to meet his demands, well, we all know how that story usually ends, especially with Real Madrid lurking, a club that knows exactly how to lure superstars. There's no official statement yet, but time is working against Liverpool. The closer we get to summer, the harder it becomes to keep hold of a player. Offers from other clubs will keep piling up, and Madrid isn't backing down. So if the rumours are true and the deal really is 90% done, Liverpool should already be thinking about a replacement. What do you think? Can Liverpool convince Trent to stay, or will we see him in a white jersey this summer? So, according to fresh rumours, Arsenal is going all in to sign Lautaro Martinez. And why not? He's a top-tier striker, and it looks like the Gunners have plenty of cash to spend. But there's one problem. Inter has absolutely no desire to part ways with the Argentine. And it's no surprise, Lautaro is their top scorer, attacking leader, captain, and, quite frankly, the main reason the Nerazzurri haven't collapsed financially yet. But Arsenal seems to be following the money talks approach. Reports suggest they're ready to offer 120 million euros for Martinez, a figure that will definitely make Inter's accountants sweat. But will it be enough? Lautaro recently signed a contract until 2029, and the Italians don't look too eager to let him go. Then again, money makes the world go round, and Inter is not exactly a club that can afford to turn down massive offers. Why is Arsenal so desperate for a striker? Simple. Mikel Arteta has serious problems up front. Gabriel Jesus is out injured again, and right now, the team's main striker is Kai Havertz. Yep, the guy who plays in every position except his own. Arsenal needs someone who won't just run around the pitch, but will actually put the ball in the back of the net consistently. Martinez has already scored 23 goals in all competitions this season. How's that for consistency? Plus, he fits Arteta's style perfectly. He can score, carry the ball, link up with teammates, and even drop deep when needed. A kind of Jesus 2.0, just without the constant injuries. Well, almost, but let's be realistic. Signing Lautaro won't be a walk in the park. First, there's competition. If Inter genuinely considers selling, clubs like Chelsea or Manchester United, who traditionally have more money than common sense in the transfer market, will jump in immediately. Second, Arsenal, despite learning to spend big, does so carefully. After dropping €116 million on Declan Rice, the club has been more cautious with its finances and won't rush into signing Martinez unless they're 100% sure about it. And while you're thinking about whether Lautaro could really end up at Arsenal, here's an interesting fact. Over 80% of viewers watch without subscribing. Yet subscribers tend to watch longer and come back more often. Coincidence? I don't think so. So if you've made it this far, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the latest and hottest transfer rumours. But seriously, what do you make of this? Imagine Lautaro stepping onto the Emirates pitch to a roaring crowd, bagging a brace against Man City and giving Guardiola a shove-it gesture. Beautiful, right? But for now, it's all just rumours. Do you believe in this transfer, or do you think Arsenal is just making noise? Drop a comment and let me know who you see as Arteta's number 9. According to Court Offside, Liverpool is quietly making plans for the summer and keeping an eye on midfielders. Frenkie de Jong is one of the names on their transfer wish list. Rumour has it that Barcelona is willing to sell him for €35 million. Sounds like a bargain for a club of Liverpool's calibre, right? Well, there's just one problem. Or actually, not just one. 400,000 problems. That's how many pounds per week Frenkie earns. Yeah guys, Barca's wages are no joke, and this isn't the first time they've scared off potential buyers. An interesting detail, De Jong is no longer a key player for Barcelona. Hansi Flick has used him sparingly this season. Just 7 games, 3 goals. But if you look deeper, it becomes clear that Barca doesn't really know what to do with his contract. On one hand, they aren't in a hurry to extend it. On the other, they clearly don't want to lose money. So, is this the perfect moment to sell? After a quiet January window, where Liverpool didn't sign anyone, the Reds are clearly preparing for some major moves in the summer. Midfield is an area where big changes could happen. But is this transfer really feasible? There are a few key questions. Is De Jong the perfect fit for Arne Slot? Considering Slot's playing style, Frenkie could definitely be an important piece of Liverpool's system. He's versatile, dictates tempo, and is elite on the ball. But how well would he adapt to the high-intensity demands of the Premier League? Would he lower his wage demands? This is the biggest issue. Liverpool isn't a club that throws insane amounts of money at wages. Yes, they pay top salaries to world-class players, but £400,000 per week is way beyond reasonable. Would Frenkie be willing to take a pay cut to play in the Premier League? Is Barcelona really ready to sell? Sure, Barca isn't in the best financial shape right now, but if they find a way to keep him or decide to raise his price, it'll make things a lot more complicated for Liverpool. There's a feeling that this might just be a market play rather than a genuine transfer move. Yes, Liverpool is looking for midfield reinforcements. Yes, Barcelona might consider selling, but in the end, it all comes down to money, contract details, and De Jong's own desire. If Frenkie isn't willing to compromise, and Barca chooses to hold on to him until his contract runs out, then this transfer simply won't happen. Now, over to you guys. What do you think about the idea of De Jong joining Liverpool? Would he thrive in the Premier League, or is this just another overhyped transfer rumour? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button if you want more breaking news, and don't forget to subscribe. Who knows, maybe tomorrow we'll be discussing an even bigger name. Casemiro at Manchester United is starting to feel like an expensive car bought on impulse. Exciting at first, but now they have no idea what to do with it. What happened? Once the engine of Real Madrid, now he's just a dusty exhibit on United's bench. Sell him? They should. But to whom? It seems like the Brazilian has almost no options left. Or is there still a chance for a fresh start? United's midfield is a mess right now. Under Ruben Amorim, Casemiro is slowly fading out of the starting. Since November, he has played just 4 Premier League matches, and the last time he stepped on the pitch was December 30th against Newcastle. Not exactly great stats for a player earning a salary that's probably giving the club's accountants grey hair faster than United fans themselves. Saudi Arabia? That seemed like the perfect option. Big money, a comfortable league, warm weather. But instead of Casemiro, Al Nassr signed John Duran from Aston Villa. The window is now closed, and with it, the Saudi dream is gone. That leaves Europe. And here comes Galatasaray, a club that has long been a safe haven for aging Premier League stars. According to ESPN, the Turkish side has shown interest in Casemiro before, and now this option could be back on the table. But time is running out. Turkey's transfer window closes on February 11th. United, on the other hand, seems more than happy to let him go. After Rashford's departure to Aston Villa, Casemiro is now the club's highest paid player, but paying massive wages for someone who barely plays? That's hardly a smart investment. Ineos wants to cut costs, which means getting rid of these golden contracts. But the real question is, does Casemiro even want to go to Turkey? Imagine this: you spend your career at Real Madrid, win Champions League titles, become a club legend, and then move to Galatasaray. For a 31-year-old, that might feel like a steep drop. But on the other hand, what other options does he have? There's no demand for him in the Premier League, Saudi Arabia is no longer an option, and if he stays at United, he's likely to warm the bench for the rest of the season. Casemiro's situation is a classic example of how football doesn't forgive weakness. Not long ago, he was Real Madrid's rock, but now no clubs are lining up for him. United has a dilemma: wait until summer and hope someone takes him, or find a quick solution right now. And for Casemiro, it's a simple choice: accept Turkey or prepare for life as a bench warmer. What do you think he'll choose? Barcelona has found a new candidate for the right-back position. Attention on Daniel Muñoz from Crystal Palace. The 28-year-old Colombian, who has dreamed of playing for Barca since 2020, now has a real chance of making it to Camp Nou. But here's the catch: Chelsea and Manchester City are also eyeing him. Who will snatch up Muñoz, the true hero of Palace this season? 27 matches, 2 goals, 4 assists, not bad at all for a right-back. The club signed him in January 2024 for just £6.8 million, and now his price has shot up to €25 million. Classic Crystal Palace business: buy low, sell high. But to whom? According to Mundo Deportivo, Barca sees him as the long-awaited solution for the right flank. Koundé is playing there out of necessity, and the squad doesn't have a natural right-back. Plus, Muñoz himself is a Barcelona fan. Sounds like a perfect match, right? Well, not so fast. First, Chelsea. Todd Boehly seems determined to collect fullbacks like trading cards, and Muñoz is the latest potential addition. But the Blues already have Reece James, and a whole bunch of other problems. Will they really have the time and money to invest in another right-back? Then there's City. A completely different story. According to Rumours, Guardiola sees Muñoz as a replacement for Kyle Walker, who, out of nowhere, has moved to Milan. With the 34-year-old Englishman gone, someone has to fill the gap on the right flank. If City decides to go all in for Muñoz, Barca could be in serious trouble. So, where will the Colombian end up? Logic suggests that if he truly wants to join Barca, they should be favourites. But football is a business. If Chelsea or City offer Palace a suitcase full of cash and Muñoz a hefty contract, his dream of Barcelona could quickly fade away. What do you think? Where will Daniel land this summer? Would he be a good fit for Barca, or should they look elsewhere?